Hello and welcome to this webinar about the FIT principle. So the FIT principle is the main principle that we use when we're starting to build workouts and what we need to look at when we're building a workout for ourselves. So I'm going to go into it if it wants to work. There we go. Cool. So F stands for frequency. So first we need to know how many times we're going to train. That could be either per week, per month, sometimes even per day if you're talking about kind of elite athletes. Sometimes they're training twice a day, and how often you train is going to have to impact the type of training they do and the rest of the FIT principle, which we'll talk about. So how often you train is it's the first one we want to think about. So right, if I can train 3 times a week, that's the first starting point for us to build a workout. Next is the intensity of your workout. So how hard are you going to work in each session? It's going to also depend on how many sessions you do per day or per week or per month. Like I said, if you're doing 2 sessions a day, you can't do 2 max out sessions because you won't be able to recover in time for the next session. So we need to take that into account when we're thinking of building our program. Next one is time. So this kind of falls into a few things. How long can you spend in the gym? How long is your goal? And things like that. So this then comes into play. How often can you go? How much time can you spend when you're there? And if your sessions are shorter, they could probably be more intense. If they're a little bit longer sessions, they're going to be less intense, or the intensity is going to drop as the session goes on because you're there for longer. And then finally is the type of training. So is it cardio training? Is it weight training? We're going to class yoga and Pilates as training, which are they're still difficult, but we're not jumping around like in a cardio class, and we're not lifting heavy weights if you're in the weights area. But the type of training will also impact how long you spend in the gym, how hard the intensity is, and how often you can repeat that session per week, per month, and so on. So that's the main FIT principle, so frequency, intensity, time, and type. But I've also want to discuss kind of a few added extras that aren't included in that, but I think are important when thinking about your session planning and your program planning as well. So first of all, we've got volume. So volume means how much kind of weight you're lifting or how many reps you're doing. So if you're doing 3 sets of 10, that's 30 reps in total, compared to someone doing 5 sets of 12. It's a lot different volume. Even if you're doing the same weight, the volume of your total sets and total reps is much harder for the second person. So we need to take into account how many sets, how many reps, how much weight, and kind of at what proportion of your max strength is that at. So this still goes back to intensity, time, type, and so on. So it all links together, and we kind of have to build the program and see how it all interlinks. But volume is one because it also impacts your recovery, which we'll talk about next. But tempo. So tempo is kind of the speed that you execute your exercises. So talk about in the weights area. If you squat, you go down and up, nice and quick. 1 second down, 1 second up. Per rep is 2 seconds. 10 reps is 20 seconds. If I ask you to do 2 second down, 2 second up for 10, we've doubled the amount of time that muscle's having to work. Tempo slower, work rate's gone up, intensity has gone up, and then therefore that may it's going to impact how long you can spend in the gym, how long you can keep that intensity up, how long it takes you to recover, how many sessions you can do that week. So you start to see how everything kind of interlinks and impacts on each other principle of the FIT principle. Range of movement as well. So if you're going at a deeper range of movement, that is going to impact the intensity, the volume, because if you break down volume even more, if you're lifting 10 kilos for 10 reps, but you're only going halfway down on a squat compared to getting the full way down, it's longer time, it's more muscles being worked, the muscles being worked at a greater degree, the intensity goes up, the volume will go up because you're moving it through a longer range of movement. So that also comes into account as well. And I'm not sure I didn't put it down, but also recovery will come into it as well. So frequency, intensity, the recovery is going to be a big part of it as well. So if you can't, the intensity, the frequency, the volume, and type of training is all going to be determined pretty much by how much you can recover. If you can do loads and recover quickly, get back in for another great session, then perfect. If you're doing too much and you can't recover in time to have an optimal great session, then maybe you need to look at rejigging your program to suit your recovery time and your recovery abilities. But we're going to talk about these in more detail in other webinars. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you found it useful. If you have any questions about this, please ask me, let me know. I'd love to be able to delve deeper into it for you, because I want to help you guys be able to start to build your knowledge around training programs, and then finally be able to build your own training programs that are safe, effective and efficient. So hopefully you found it useful, and I look forward to some questions. Thank you.